Hello, this is Kedulytics and welcome to today's session. In today's brief video, we are going to take a step further in our survival analysis videos or series of videos to be able to undertake Kaplan-Meier estimate or curve. So if you watch this video right to the very end, you'll be able to know how to come up with drawing the Kaplan-Meier curve in STATA. You'll also be able to identify what the survival probability of function is, the median survival time, and also you'll be able to get to know some interpretation of the Kaplan-Meier curve, and also how you can compare between some groups by just visual inspection. So we encourage you to hook on to the video until the very end. And at the end of the video, you would have reasons to rejoice. If you are new to the channel, we encourage you to subscribe to the channel and turn on the post notification bell so you are always informed of every new video that we bring up on board. Now, to set the ball rolling, we want to set our data platform or mode to survival time using save time, which is the survival time in our data set, and putting it by failure on the outcome of interest mortality of under 5 children. So this is a dummy data set that gathers data on children between the first 5 years of life and monitoring to see how many die or survive that. So we are going to try to draw a Kaplan-Meier curve around this and to be able to see how interpretation can be done. So with this, we have set it tells us we have 1,654 observations, and then the total person years is 3,779.589. Now our interest is to draw the Kaplan-Meier curve. So to draw the Kaplan-Meier curve, the code you need is STS graph. It's as simple as that. We click on enter, and then we'll wait a while, and then there we have our Kaplan-Meier curve. So now we are going to take a few moments to look at the Kaplan-Meier curve to really see what it means. So it has two main axes, the x-axis and then the y-axis. So the x-axis basically is or represents the time typically measured in months, years, or any other relevant units of measurements. In this case, we are using years. Now, on the y-axis is the estimated probability of survival or the probability function, and it ranges from, as we can see, 0 to 1, and it indicates, or where 0 indicates no survival and then 1 indicates 100% survival probability. Now you've also noticed that the Kaplan-Meier curve is drawn as stepwise declines. So we can see that it consists of a series of steps or decline lines. Each step represents a point in time where an event, in this case, death of a child, occurs. So basically, that is how this is interpreted. Now, in a situation where we have centered data, as in this case, you realize that between the steps, you can see horizontal lines extending from left to right. This represents censored data points, which are individuals who have not experienced the event by the end of the study or have been lost to follow up. So as we can see, these horizontal lines here represent that. Now, we also need to really understand the steepness of the curve. Now, the steepness of the decline portion of the curve indicates the rate at which events are occurring. Now, notice this point. A steeper decline suggests a higher event rate, while a shallower decline suggests a lower event rate. So as we can see in this picture or graph, we can see that this is a more shallow decline. So it tells you that the rate of death recorded among these participants is very low, or is on the low side. Assuming it had been this way, it would have been a high rate. So it also helps us to have a clue when we are comparing between groups. The one that is higher has a lower death rate or a higher survival rate compared to the one that has a lower or a steeper curve. Now, another point or another keyword associated with survival analysis is what we call the median survival time. And here, to be able to identify the median survival time, you have to mark the 50% or the 0.5 mark on the probability or the survival probability mark on the y-axis, and then trace it to see which time corresponds to that. So as we can see in this particular video, there is no median survival time. Why? Because the rate of survival is very high or the rate of death is very low, such that it has not got to the point where half of the study participants or died or experienced the event of interest. So the median survival time just talks about the fact that or indicates that 50% of the participants experience the event of interest. Now, so basically, this is how you can be able to use the Kaplan-Meier to identify these key terms that I have mentioned: the probability of survival or survival function, the median survival time, and also to tell you how you can be able to tell whether survival rate is high or low depending on the steepness of the curve. Now we want to see how we can compare groups to see whether we can see that a survival rate is higher in one group compared to another. So to do that, we are going to compare survival of these children among those that were given birth in the hospital and then those that were delivered at home or another place other than hospital, to see if there is a difference visually by looking at it, not doing a statistical inferences. So when you look at this curve critically, the blue line indicates that the person has been delivered elsewhere, while the wine or reddish line indicates the person has been delivered in the hospital. Now, when you look at it carefully, you get to know that those who are delivered at the hospital had a higher or a more gentle or shallow slope or curve compared to those who are born elsewhere. So since this is higher than this one, then it tells us the survival rate of this is higher in the hospital compared to the survival rate in elsewhere, or the death rates in the hospital is lower compared to the death rates in elsewhere or at any other place apart from the hospital. So this is how you can do comparison between groups using the Kaplan-Meier estimate. I hope this video has been very helpful to you. And if you like content such as this, we encourage you to subscribe to the channel, turn on the post notification bell so you are always notified whenever a new video is released. And if you are a returning subscriber, we thank you so much for always coming to learn on our platform. Until we meet again on our next one, this is Schedulytics, and it's a bye.